Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. Hope you've got something nice to eat, maybe to drink as well, and you're going to settle in for a bit of time with me and maybe your stitching as well. I've got lots and lots to share with you this morning. So this is, as I said, the Sunday morning briefing. It is the 19th of September and this is FlossTube number 47. Not that any of that really matters, but I always like to say it at the beginning, just in case you get off track. So it has been a busy week. We are definitely back to full school in swing mode, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy times. Lots of the things that we haven't been doing for the last 18 months are starting to come back into play, meetings in person being one of them. I can't say as I'm necessarily a fan. I used to quite like sitting there listening into the meeting with my stitching and my camera off. I'm not sure the head would quite appreciate me taking a sampler into the heads of subject meeting anymore, but there we go. I managed to get a bit of a bath in this week, which is not something I normally manage in the midweek, but I managed to get a quick 20-minute bath in, and I was in the bath and the phone went. And it was Chris, and he was down at the beach, just got off the boat, and he said, I've lost the car key on the beach. And so yeah, he'd lost the key to our VW Caravelle on the beach somewhere. So he said, can you bring me the spare down? Yeah, no problem. And then I thought about it and I had to phone him back and I said, I haven't got the spare key. The spare key's still in the garage because the VW's just had an MOT and a service, so the spare key was still at the garage. So I went down there with head torches and stuff because it's 9:15 at night. Head torches, and we're searching for this key everywhere. He's managed to get in touch with the owner of the garage, who's a friend of ours, and he's just about getting ready to go and get the key, the spare key, just in case the van gets washed away. And we're looking for it everywhere. There's 4 or 5 people looking for it on the beach, only in a small area. He said, I had it in my pocket. I was flicking, oh, there's a fly. Anybody else got lots of flies buzzing around at the minute? They've literally all come in en masse. Anyway, looking around on the floor, he said, I was literally just clicking it back and forward in my pocket and I was playing with this dog and then it wasn't there anymore. And so we looked and looked and looked. And then all of a sudden he starts fiddling with his boot. And the key had gone from the inside of his hoodie pocket, out through a hole in his hoodie pocket, down through his salad pants, and was sitting on the top of the turnover of his boot, of his whirly boot. So yeah, we found the key in the end, but my bath got cut short. He had a bit of a panic that we wouldn't be able to find the key, and I had a bit of a panic that the van might get washed away. Seriously, this fly is going to really irritate me. Oh. Did I catch it then? Because it seems to have just let it go. Fingers crossed it's going to go off and bother somebody else. If not, I'm going to have to get savage with it. Right. Anyway. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers. I've had, again, a really good week with subscribers, lots and lots of new people. So thank you to everybody for getting the word out there. I think the Great Flossdrop trade is really helping, but I've also had lots and lots of people come from other routes. So thank you very much to all my new subscribers, and thank you very much to all my old subscribers who put up with me on a weekly basis. Like I said, I don't play the numbers and the analysis game, but I do have in my head that maybe I'd like to try and get to 10k by Christmas. There you go, I said it out loud. It probably means it won't happen now. But anyway, I've shared it with you now. Right, let's have a look and see. I have got 3 new starts this week, 2 of which I've finished. I've worked on 6 different projects and I've got 4 finishes altogether. So I'm going to show you them and you can see how that all pans out. I have even ironed them. Ish. I've ironed at them. So my first finish, in fact, first 2 finishes come from this booklet, which is Agnes Platt's Strawberry Sampler. And I have stitched this one, which I started with Nikki Noodle way back in May. And I've also stitched this one. So, without further ado, oh, I've got an itchy head now because of the fly. Not that it came anywhere near my head, but it doesn't matter. Right, where is it? There it is. So this is the bee skep, and oops, there we go, that's better. This is the bee skep, and it's stitched on a piece of 36 count from Victorian Motto, and I'm really pleased with that. I even managed to do the little lazy daisy stitches for the bees, which I've never done before, and it's showing up quite red in this picture, but actually when I look at it, the colour I see most is almost like a yellow, and I think it's because my harvest basket, which is what you do all of the sort of infill around the bricks and the house, is actually quite a yellow colour. I'm really pleased with it, and I will definitely make it look more red by putting it in my red stitches tray that I've got that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, just in my head, and I think maybe it's because it's in a red frame on here, I had it being more red. And you can just about see the other one that I've finished there is the basket of flowers, which is on this pin cushion here. Now I'm actually going to try making mine into a strawberry, hence why I've left quite a lot of space around the outside to do it, and I haven't put on the little doodads that go around the outside, because until I've put my shape on, I don't know quite where I want them to be. So if you've never made a strawberry before, most strawberries are made on a semicircle or a very near semicircle pattern. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And then the third thing that I want to make for my little tray is a little scissor fob, and I want to do it on that, which is actually taken from the main sampler. There isn't a picture of the main sampler stitched other than the antique, but right down in the corner of it there's a tree with a little bee skep underneath it, and so I want to just take that detail and just make that into a little scissor fob for my tray as well. So pleased with those two finishes. What am I going to do with it all? Floor. And then my next two finishes, the first one I showed you last week, I think, in my plans, and it was When I Think of Autumn by Puntini. So for those of you who don't know, if this is your first time watching, I am doing a sampler September, although I haven't actually touched a sampler this week, or certainly not one of the ones I was supposed to be focusing on. And then I'm doing new starts for Puntini on the weekends. And so I'd wanted to start When I Think of Autumn, and it comes with two beautiful little buttons, a hazelnut and an acorn. And then Paola from Puntini, who very graciously gifted me this chart, also sent me the little pins for it as well, which are amazing. And I'm going to put those back in the bag before I lose them. And so this is, where is it? Where is it? There it is. This is When I Think of Autumn. Now I've used similar colours to the called for, but not necessarily the called for colours. And the acorn button fits just on there, and I've seen the hazelnut button there, and I've also seen it there. So when I make my pillow, I will have a look. Now when I make my Puntini things up, I always iron on the interfacing before I put the buttons on, because obviously you don't want to be putting a hot iron over the back of buttons, and so that's why they're not on there at the moment. So I will put my interfacing on the back. This is going to be a little pillow because I want it to sit next to my spools, which are the monthly ones. And then my second Puntini finish, I showed you last week a little freebie chart that Paola had released to go with this set, and it just says seasons on it. And so I'm going to be making this. I feel like I'm really far away today. There we go. I'm going to be making this into, I don't know whether it's going to be into a little pillow or something, I'm not sure. But I thought that was really cute. I really liked stitching that. It was ever such a quick little stitch as well. So this is on a piece of 32 count vintage country mocha, but instead of using the vintage side, which is the side with all the, well, there you go, you can see my really scrappy back there, with all the mottling on, I've used the plain side. So what's that, 4 finishes? 4 finishes. And what else have I worked on? I don't know if you can hear, but my stomach is really grumbling. So last week I had a squeaky chair and now I've got a grumbling stomach. And do you know what, I'm just going to move you. Sorry if you get a bit motion sick, I'm going to try and do it. There we go. I just felt I was kind of poking at the top of the screen or at the bottom of the screen. I was like, hello, hello, can you hear me? So the other thing that I've worked on is the Cryptids sale, because 3 of the Cryptids have been released and I haven't stitched one of them yet. I've been working on the border, or I did some work on the border, and you can see the first Cryptid that was released was over this way, so I'd have had to finish this bit of the border in order to start it. So when the second one was released, it was released in the middle, so I thought, oh, at least I can give that a go. And then the third one that's been released is actually down here underneath the first one. So I'll put a little picture up here of what it should look like, and this is where I am. So this is a piece of my own hand dyed 32 count linen that I Rit dyed, and then I took some walnut dye in a spray and I just went a bit mad with it just to grunge it up even further. But I really can't wait to get going on this properly now. I've been a bit all over the place this week. It's just been whatever comes to hand, really. And then my last thing is a new start, and it's going to be a giveaway as well, because I've got lots to tell you about. Now, where did I put it? That's my start. There we go. There we go. Now I need all the information to hand. So I started this little kit, which is called Freedom Fob by Haystack Stitching, which is Caroline Seldon. Now, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I said I've got these floss cards from Caroline. She sent me some as part of the Flossdrop trade, and I said I'm going to tell you a bit more about her next week. Well, I didn't manage to catch up with Caroline last week, but I did in time for this week. And there's a lot to do with Caroline. So, sorry, I'll just put this back in the packet. So this is a little fob, and I will take the chart out of the packet. It comes with the chart, it came with the flosses, it comes with all the ribbon I need to finish it off, and it's just a little fob like that. But I've never made one that shape before, so I thought I'd have a go, and Caroline sent this to me with some others, which are going to be my freebies, or some of my freebies, and I've made a very small start on it. This is a 40 count linen. Now, Caroline sent me lots of information about projects that she's involved with, and I wanted to pass on the information to you because I thought you guys would be really interested. So I'll put all of Caroline's contact information down below and all of the various different things that she's involved with. So basically Caroline and her friend Linda, just before lockdown, had set up a business doing stitching tours and stitching retreats, and then of course obviously lockdown hit and put the kibosh on that. Linda you might know from the Cross Stitch Guild, and their website is called Kindred Spirit Stitchers UK, and I will link it down below. And they currently have a retreat going on in November in Eastbourne, and there are a few spaces left for that, but they've also got planned retreats in the Cotswolds and another one in Eastbourne. So if you're interested in a retreat, then go along, register your interest. There's no further dates for the Cotswold one and the next Eastbourne one, because obviously people are still a little bit cagey about booking things up. But if you want to register your interest, then you can go on, you can email them, and then as soon as they've got the dates for those, then they can let you know. They also import linen. Now linen has been quite difficult to come by, so another source would be interesting to have, would it not? So they do all sorts of counts, especially the higher counts. So 60, 52 counts, 60 counts, 51 counts, 48 counts, 45 counts, 40 counts, 30 counts, all the way down to 28 counts. So they do Graziano, Sotomer, and also Zweigart linen in different colours. So again, if you're interested in any of those types of linens, it's a tab on the Kindred Kindred Spirit Stitchers website, and you can again register your interest for that. And then Caroline herself is haystack stitching, and she's actually had 2 ornaments in the last 2 Christmas editions of the Just Cross Stitching magazine, and one of them this year made the front cover. So if you've seen it and you've seen the little Christmas jumper with the dashend on it, that's Caroline, that's haystack stitching. And so she sent me that little kit, but she also sent me some other little kits, and these I'm going to give away. So these are going to be for UK stitchers only, I'm afraid, and I'm going to show you them, and you just write down the code word in the comments, and then I'll draw some winners next week. So the first one is the same one as the one that I've already started, which is the Freedom Fob. So it comes with 40 count linen, the chart, and all of the threads that you need to stitch it, and a needle. So if you fancy having a go at that and winning that, if you can just put the name or the word freedom in your comment, then I'll know you're interested in winning that one. Now, there's 2 versions of this one. There's the Guardian Angel cushion. So this is the one which says love on it, I presume, because it's got the pink. It's got all the pink. So if you would like to enter for this one, just checking it's not both, I think it's just one. If you would like to enter for this one, then if you can use the word pink in your comment, then I'll enter you for that one. And then this one has got the purple in it. Maybe you could make either. I haven't opened this. Let me just open it and have a quick look, and then I'll be able to tell you. You're going to be putting down either pink or purple. Let's just see. Yeah, I think you can make either, because if you look, there we go, the pattern is the same, but the word underneath is different, and actually there's an alphabet in there, so you could use either love or friends as it says, or you could put what you want in there. You could chart your own. So I've got a pink kit and a purple kit, and you could make either of those 2, or you could put your own word there. So if you want to be entered for that one, use either the word pink or purple, or put both. Freedom is the other kit, or put all 3. Just be over 18 so that I can have your contact information and your address. Don't say giveaway, don't say freebie, all of that sort of jazz. Please be a subscriber, and I'll pick a winner next week. You know how it works. You know how it works. So I'll put all of that information below, and if you're interested in looking at any of those things, then you can go and have a look. Right, I'm sorry, I've got my notepad here because I've written down so much information for this episode. Right, I've had so much stitchy kindness again this week. I'm so lucky to be involved in this community. It's a constant joy, and I don't mean that flippantly or glibly. It is just a constant joy. There's something in every day that brightens my day. Right, so a few weeks ago, just knocked a 5p piece off the side there, I made this. And this is Quaker Samplings number 3 by a company called With My Needle, Ellen Chester, who is needleworkerellen on Instagram, and there's also a With My Needle Instagram, separate. I'll put both those down below. And she designed this as a sampler for the wall, and I decided I'm going to make it into a massive drum, literally the size of a drum, or as I like to call it, the stitched Stilton. And she was super kind, and she sent me some of her new releases. I'm sorry, these aren't going to be giveaways. Well, not yet anyway, not until I've stitched them. So she sent me, try not to get the glare on these, mini Quaker samplings. How cute are those? She sent me sampler maker, which is one like that, which I love with that girl on. Now, if only I had a billion spools hanging around. Do you know what? I can't get my words tonight. 2 weeks ago I dropped everything, now I can't get my words. Things are going to start falling off next week. So, sampler maker by Ellen Chester. There we go. And she also sent me this one, which goes on a spool as well. And as I said, if I only had a billion of those spools hanging around, which I do. I'm a bit of a magpie when it comes to spools. I nearly said stools then, which isn't too bad if you're thinking about the chair stools. We'll leave that there. So thank you so much, Ellen, for those. I am really delighted with them, and I really, where is it? I can't do it backwards. Really enjoyed stitching that. Really enjoyed it. And I have some more Flossdrops. Now I think I've managed to keep them in the right piles. I hope, I really do hope. So that was my little note from Ellen. These first ones here, these came with a lovely card. I just want to make pretty things and ignore my adult life. That is pretty much me. Whenever anyone says to me, oh, how do you get so much stitching done? It's that. I pretty much ignore my adult life as much as I can. And she sent me these ones. How cute are they? How cute are they? So let me just get this right. Yeah, Angie, and it says and Sophie Joe on the bottom, are Tiny House Stitcher, the Tiny House Stitcher. So there we, doesn't help with my great big fat fingers in the way, does it? There we go. I keep seeing posts about all these Flossdrops. And I had a message saying, oh, I've got my cards eventually if you're still going. Yes, we're still going. Everybody is still going on this. I keep seeing new ones. I'm thinking, oh, I haven't got those ones. I need to get them. I sent out another big batch in this week just gone. So, and I've contacted a few more people. So apologies if it feels like I'm waiting to contact you, but I need to do it so that I contact you, send out a batch, and then contact the next sort of batch of people, because otherwise I'll just get myself in a right pickle. One of the ladies was even saying she's got a spreadsheet on the go, which would have been a genius idea if I'd done it from the start. These ones I actually had a little while ago, and they found their way, they got separated from the gorgeous makes that she sent me. So these ones came from yasminsmadewithlove, and if you remember a couple of weeks ago she sent me that cute little YouTube easel, and she also sent me a Halloween pillow with a witch. So there's those, but yeah, they got separated. So apologies, I didn't show those at the time. These ones came with this lovely card, which are from Yvonne. Now, I'm not sure if Yvonne's put her Instagram name on these. I'll have a look and see if I can put her down below. Beautiful with a cardinal on. It says North Carolina on it. And then two more I think. Now these are from Lynn, who is kraftygypsy, and we'll hear a bit more about Lynn because she sent me another parcel of things to give away and things to stitch first. Look at those. How stunning are those? That cat with a peacock tail. Love those. And I have to say, I'm not generally a cat person. I am more of a dog person than a cat person, but those are special. And then these ones, which are a quilt that the designer of these has actually made, and they came from Lynn Rodby. So it's a quilt that she's made, and I saw these on Brenda and Laura's, and I'm sure, yeah, Hexagon Pineapple the quilt is called. I was a bit sad when Brenda and Laura were showing all their cards that mine don't seem to have got there yet. I sent them ages ago, so I think they might be taking the long way round, but hopefully they'll get there soon. Right, now I have got, what am I going to talk about now? Lynn. Let's do the stash that Lynn sent me, since I've mentioned her. She sent me a huge parcel of stuff, and I am going to choose one to give away this week as well. So first of all, she sent me some fabric. She said, oh, I've got a bit of fabric to send that I don't think I'll use. Would you like it? Yes, thank you. So she sent me a dusky pink 32 count. She sent me some Picture This Plus Bashful, which is actually a really pale pink. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. She sent me a fat quarter of Mellow, Picture This Plus Mellow, which is a beautiful colour. I think it's a little bit more orangey than it's showing, but not much. Sorry, that was my scowl. I am one of those people that's got a bit of a resting bitch face, or a resting stitch face. It's got me into trouble loads of times before. Some 28 count mulberry, which again is a lovely, it's almost like I planned it. Oh, lovely colour, and that is a stonking great piece. And she sent me this one, which I think again is another 28 count. Oh yeah, dusky green Joblin. I will have great fun with those. And then she sent all of these through for us. So the first one is this Stacey Nash Redwork Primitives. Now I've actually been looking at this one, so she must have telepathically known that I really wanted to stitch this one. This one by the Nebby Needle. This is called Mr. Claus at the Ready. She sent The First Day of Christmas. I love those trees. I really like those trees. And that's obviously Hello from Ms. Matthews. She sent this one by the Chart Makers, which is an anomaly, which is a scientific thing. We've been talking about those at school this week. An anonymous sampler. Patty Parsley Heart, which I love. really like that. This fantastic one, Noah's Stocking by Carriage House. And she also sent Life Wears Away by Carriage House, which I love. She sent Elizabeth Hunter, The Scarlet House, which I really do want to stitch. Really like that one. She sent My Dear Heart by Blackbird Designs, and the one that I really want to stitch, well, I like to stitch the sampler, but I love that heart, and I think I've actually got some fabric for that. Tell me, what do we need? 36 count Tango by Picture This Plus. I've got some Weeks Dye Works Aztec, which I think will work just as well. And this one, which is called Sampler Studies with Susan Greening Davis. So we've got all of them. And as it's Sampler September, I think we'll start by giving this one away. So let's choose a... Let's choose a word. Let's choose a word. Let's go for study. S-T-U-D-Y. Study. And this one again is just going to be for UK because it's quite a hefty booklet, and it gives you, just show you what you could be getting. Gives you the charts to make all of the pages, which I think then end up making a booklet. And if you have a little look, it's actually signed by the author as well. I'm glad I opened that. So if you want to have a go at winning that one, and you're in the UK, or you've got a UK address, and that actually worked for somebody on one of my last giveaways. They live in South Africa, I believe, but they have a sister in the UK, and so it went to the sister's address, and then it goes on from there. So if you've got a UK address, you can enter for them. That's absolutely fine. So study for that one, and all the same jargony rules apply. Right, what else have I got now? Oh, I had so many people comment about this little lady that I showed you last week, and I think the fact that she's 5 when she stitched this sampler really caught everyone's imagination, plus the fact that it's in beautiful colours. So I had 2 people contact me about her. The first person who contacted me about her was Rebecca from Hedgerow Stitching, and the second person who contacted me about her was Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. And Rebecca said to me, she said, I think I found your Mary. She's in Kensington in the 1871 census, and her father, who was Dr. David Henry Small, served in the same regiment as my grandparents. How incredible is that? And she was able to send me some information about the regiment. I haven't had a chance to look at it all yet, but super interesting. And then Jacob actually contacted me and said, I've done a little bit of research on your Mary, I hope you don't mind, and told me what he'd found out about her. And I'd had a look as well by this point. So, a little bit of a red herring for our Mary. East Weems, so I'm thinking I need to get on Scotland's People, she's a Scottish girl, and she is. But she was actually born in East India. She was actually born in East India, which is where her father was stationed out in the army, and he was a surgeon in the army. And her mother and father were actually married out in India. So I'm going to have to look at my notes to try and remember all of this. So she was obviously in East Weems when she was 5. Her father was Scottish, he was from East Weems. Her mother was English. So her father was Dr. David Henry Small and her mother was Isabella Wyatt. And I think that accounts for these initials here. So DHS and IWS I think is Isabella Wyatt Small, although she wasn't double barreled, but I think that's who she is. So at the time when Mary stitched this, she's registered as having 2 siblings. So I'm not sure who this is, but this one is Isabella MS Small. I'm not sure the initials on that one. This one is Lila, spelled Lillas, Lila C Small. This is Mary, and her middle names were Amelia Graham. So Mary Amelia Graham Small. Now, this one, I think may be her grandfather, whose name, if I remember correctly, was James. And I'm not sure about this CHMS. I'm not sure about that. So I'll have to have a bit more of a dig and see if I can find those 2 that I'm not sure about. She had a very interesting life because she actually married out in Australia to a Frederick Powell. Now, I think I found another marriage record for him, so I think that they may have split. She had 3 children, Isabel, David and Stanley, and Isabel and David were both born in Australia and Stanley was born in England. She went back to Weems but then eventually died in Wolverhampton in 1951. So she had quite the life, our little Mary. So by the time she stitched this, she'd been born in India and come back to Scotland and was then on her way to getting married and going out to Australia eventually. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna chart her, definitely, because I've actually been doing a little bit of charting myself this week. And if you haven't watched Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery's newest video, he is actually having a black sampler November where he's encouraging everyone to stitch black words are difficult. Stitch black samplers and or very dark samplers, and maybe seeing if some designers would release some, maybe ones that they've already got pugged away. Now that got me thinking, and I've had this idea bubbling away in the back of my head for quite some time, and it's a horizontal sampler and it's a Scottish one because it's in memory of my grandmother's first baby, Nessie, who died when she was very, very small. And so yeah, I've charted it up. I'm really pleased with how it looks. So I'm going to stitch it up. I think it'll probably end up for me as a drum, but it could end up as a long thin sampler for you guys. And then I'm going to show it to you sometime in October and then release it ready for November. So I'll release it as soon as I can. Right. I have got a few purchases, a few little haul things to show you because there have been some amazing releases this week. Excuse me. Reaching and grabbing. So since we're talking about Jacob, let's start with Jacob. Jacob released in fact I think he released 3 samplers this week, but I bought 2 of them. So the first one that I bought is this one, which is called I Am No Bird, and it says, I am no bird and no net ensnares me. I am a free human being with an independent will. That's from Jane Eyre. I love that. I really, really like that one. It's a companion piece to the one that says about there is no comfort about being at home, that one. In fact, I'll find it and I'll put a picture of it up there because I'm doing it a disservice. So they're companion pieces. Obviously you don't have to stitch both of them, but they're companion pieces if you want them to be. So I picked that one up. And then this one, and I actually knew what this was before I even watched the video for this, because the sampler that this is taken from I actually watched on eBay for quite some time because it was an unfinished sampler, but they did want quite a lot of money for it, and so I hankered after it, and I am so glad that it went to Jacob, because the girl who stitched this has got an amazing story, and Jacob does tell you about it in the chart. It was actually stitched by a little girl called Margaret, and this is what the sampler looked like when it was advertised for sale. And it's a Quaker border, and these were Jacob thinks these were stitched afterwards, not by Margaret. So these were here. And Margaret has actually got a very, very sad tale. She died, I'm just trying to see how old she was. I think I remember them saying she was 9, but I'm not 100%. She actually died because she choked on a bit of lobster shell. How awful is that? So as soon as he showed this, I knew, I recognised them and where he got it from, because I spent so much time hankering after this particular, sorry I keep getting shadows, this particular sampler on eBay, and I love what he's done with it. He said he didn't want to finish it, he didn't want to add something that wasn't supposed to be there or wasn't there, and so he just put this quote in the middle that says, "Force may subdue, but love gains, and he that forgives first wins the laurel." I love that, absolutely love that. So Jacob, you have done such a sterling job on that, so fantastic. I love it. Yeah. Yes, she was 9 years of old. As a consequence of having swallowed a small particle of lobster while sitting and sewing with her head thrown back. There you go. So there you go, folks, don't eat lobster and stitch. Okay, what else did I get? I couldn't not get the new Barbara Anna stitch along from Creative Popping, so I got that. And the called for is actually, so I got dirty linen, and I do have a piece of that, and I actually forgot. It's got my wee donkey on it, so I'll have to make up my wee donkey. So I got that one. And then I got, oh, remind me, I haven't done my freebie. Mama Witch cross stitch. Talk about a bombshell of a designer. Talk about a bombshell of a designer. She has just released this one. Dance, dance, dance. I could not give my money fast enough for this little one. It's so gorgeous. And I was straight on the Instagram direct message to Chrissy, finally a farm girl, and said, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And she's like, yeah, we got to do it. So we're going to do it. But Lollipop Stitches, it's her birthday on Friday the 24th. Sorry, tummy rumbling. And she is doing a stitch along on this one called Dance, 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 Dance Frog Sound. So I'll write that down below so I don't get it wrong. And I'm tempted to do it on this, which is why I got dirty, or I've got a slightly paler piece, because although the pattern shows it on the dark, on Etsy I think it must be where I've seen it, it's stitched on a lighter fabric and I quite like it. So that's a piece of 32 count hand dyed that I dyed a wee while ago now. So provided it fits on there, which I'm sure it will do, I might do it on that. So, oh, so cute, so cute. And for those of you who don't know, she also designed this one, which I haven't touched since last week, but I will be putting some work in this week. And Chrissy, sorry, haven't touched that one since. And then the very last thing that I bought this week is a couple of books. Now I am definitely interested in finding out about natural dyes and what to do with them, because it just hits all my buttons as a scientist about mixing different chemicals and things like that. And it also hits my buttons as a bit of a creative chuck it all in as well, because it doesn't seem like you've got to measure particularly accurately for a lot of these things. So I bought that one, which is called Natural Dyes, and it is by Judy Hardman and Sally Finney. The reason I got this one is because this one is a more UK based one. So the comments in Amazon said that it was quite nice because a lot of the things, or you can find all the things that are mentioned in here, whereas some of the other dyeing books are more centred around North America and you can't always find everything that you want. So there's that one. And then I picked up this one, which is called Natural Colours Cookbook by Maggie Pate, I would say. And this is the one actually that I've been looking at most. It's got some really, really simple dyes, depending on, there's the onion skin one, depending on which sort of colours you want to achieve. So the biggest thing that I was looking at and reading through was that a lot of it talks about putting the whatever it is into water and letting it simmer for 1 to 2 hours just below boiling, and then keeping it on a low boil for a lot longer than that, or a low temperature for a lot longer than that. And I was like, that's just not happening. So Aldi this week I've got slow cookers in. So I was like, researched a little bit, can you dye in a slow cooker? And indeed you can. So for 12 quid I purchased myself another slow cooker, one that I'm not going to use for cooking in, and I have downstairs already bubbling away some red cabbage that I am currently extracting the pigment from, and tomorrow I shall be mordanting some fabric in alum and dyeing and seeing what happens, and I can't wait. So that's it from me. I've had quite a lot to share with you this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do hit the subscribe button and I will see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.